All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Jack Hudson channel. Today is the day that we complete what I've read. 2022. I've read 40 books this year, which is an all-time high for me. On this channel down below, you'll see like a 2021 list that I did. It wasn't a tier list; it was just me on the green screen. This is much easier and quicker. Um, and yeah, this is the second part. The first part, I did all these ratings, which you can see in my videos and stuff like that. But if you're just here and you just want to see all this stuff, great. I will start off with the switching. So I'm gonna set a rule for God tier. God tier, I'm allowed only 4 books up there and only one per series. I think that's more than fair. If it even gets to 4. So one per series. So that automatically means that I am going to move. You know, let me see. I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna save God tier for the very end, and then we'll see how that kind of connects. But first off, let's switch a couple things around. I forget what this one was called. I think it was called "I Woke Up," and then I woke up. That's what it was called. It was pretty good. And this one, it's kind of high. Um, I wasn't a big fan of Prince of Fools, honestly. I might read the Book of the Ancestors later this year, which is Mark Lawrence's like apparently like the best work he's ever done. But I felt no need to continue this series, the Red Queen series. Maybe I'll reread it again. I don't know. And then I'm gonna move this one down. I wasn't that impressed with it. I'll be honest. It the original Red Rising series, which I'm gonna reread this year for preparation for the new book coming out. I was not impressed with this one. It kind of dragged. This one I stopped and started at a lot of points where I can't say that with the other Red Rising books. Like the other Red Rising books, I just went right through. But this one, I definitely struggled with. It's a great book, but like, man, you definitely feel the length and some of the characters you don't really care about. I'll be honest. Um, but I think that's all the moving I'll do for now. Um, yeah. All right. So, I'll just explain the tier list real quick. God tier is like the absolute what I loved this year. Must read are like these are must read books. You have to read these. Absolutely amazing. It's like these are great and amazing books. Great, you know, great is a step down from amazing. It's like it's really great. It's fine. It's like you can pick it up. You can't, whatever you want to do, kind of thing. Not gonna read again. Self-explanatory. And toss in the trash. There's a lot of toss in the trash, or a couple toss in the trash in this tier list. I should point out, but we'll get to those when we fucking get to those. All right. So without further ado, let's go. Book 1 of the Expanse, Leviathan Wakes. I think this is, well, not my first sci-fi because we got Star Wars over there, but I think my first like book sci-fi series because Star Wars is obviously based on a existing IP. This one is a unique and original book. Okay, so if you don't know, basically the author is a mixture of 2 authors. And they both write different perspectives in this first book. One is about a detective trying to figure out a missing girl case. The other one is I believe he's like a cargo, or he carries water. He's like a water cargo ship captain. And then hijinks ensue, and like things get really political. My favorite part about this book and what I want to kind of see in further books is the political side of things. Like basically in this world, like Earth and Mars and some asteroids are able to be inhabitable, but like there are some people that lived on asteroids and stuff. Those are called belters, I believe, and they're like the poor ones. They're very tall, lengthy because of the gravity pull, and Earth is overpopulated. Mars is constantly at war with Earth, and it's like kind of like a battle. Like, does Earth own the Belters? Does this own a belters. Like like all the political. It's kind of a political drama, and that part was really interesting. But the detective story was just kind of especially how it ends. And then the captain, water cargo. That one was a lot of fun. I like that one quite a bit, but I was more so interested in what was going on behind the scenes and stuff like that. And from what I've heard, the second book is like basically a political thriller and what I'm looking for. So I can't wait to read that next year. But this first one, I mean, I'm gonna put I'm gonna put it at the top of it's fine with a giant asterisk that you should read this. Actually, I'm gonna move this a little down. I didn't really like Path of Dagger so much. They're part of the filler books at the wheel time. It's you need to read it in order to read the rest of the Expanse. From what I've been told, I think it's fine. I think you should read it definitely if you want to get into the Expanse and modern sci-fi. It wasn't that strong, and there aren't a lot of pros. And like the two characters, point of view characters, are basically kind of the same character wise, just with a different coat of paint. But it was enjoyable. I read this all on vacation, and I had a fun time. But yeah, toward that ending, it was just with one of the characters, it was just like, ugh, really. But yeah, besides that, yeah, I mean, it's a good sci-fi world, and I'm excited to read the latter books. Then we have the Silmarillion. I'm going to say this is amazing. In fact, you know what? It's a must-read. Okay, it's a must-read. The only reason why I put it lower, for me, anyways, is because it's a hard, it's only a 300-page book, but it is dense, and you must concentrate on what the fuck is happening, or else you will be lost. Like turn off your cell phone. Like just try to get synced in. And I did kind of a thing where I read it, and if I didn't read it, I would go back to the audiobook, listen to it, see if I understood it, and if I still didn't understood it, look up a YouTube video on what the fuck happened, kind of thing. So there is that, but for the richness of the lore and stuff, it's totally worth it. Tolkien's world is incredible and amazing. Is it God tier? I don't see myself rereading this like every year, like I do with Lord of the Rings. Like I love Lord of the Rings. I haven't reread it in the past 2 years because I've been trying to read other books. But it's solid. It's immersive. It's great. Tolkien's world you just want to live in. And yeah, I mean, talk about like creating your own lore and gods and stuff like that. Like Tolkien does a great job in that, and something we still haven't really seen done well since. Then we have Laws of the Sky. This one's going toss in the trash. I was trying to get into shorter horror books this year, and a lot of them didn't stick the landing. There was one that I really liked, which we'll get into. But this one was it's just about this field trip. These kids get lost in the woods. One of the kids is a psychopath, kills the camp counselor, and then tries to kill the rest of the kids, and the kids lost in the woods. So they just die in gruesome deaths, every single one of them. It's just like a mean and pointless, like, book. It's just utterly pointless. And I don't get offended by a lot of things at all. Like, with horror movies and stuff, like, I don't really, but like, it just felt mean-spirited, and like, there was no reason to it at all, which like the author in the book kind of like relishes in. He's like, there's no point in this. Oh, you're the villain because you keep reading this book or whatever. And it's like, okay, that's like the most 14-year-old edgy thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, that's just, it's, your book's just gross. Like, it's just, it's there's no point to it. It's dumb. It's really stupid. Don't fucking read it. Below was an interesting, I would put it right here. It's fine. It's a short book, so if you're looking for something short, sweet for Halloween, or if you're feeling spooky, then this one is definitely a good one to get into. Short It's sweet. Basically, this woman, she's lost. I don't remember when this takes place. No, they do. They definitely have cell phones, but like, she's basically lost and can't find her way. So this trucker offers to help her. The trucker crashes, and she goes down there and discovers a monster that's stalking her, and it's all about her trying to survive that. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of the Mothman. It's like a spin of the Mothman myth, but instead the monster is just a giant moth, or it takes the form of a giant moth. But it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it was just a fun read. It's fine. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it was all right. I liked it. Then we have Towers of Midnight, the 13th book of the Wheel of Time, approaching the end. This is feels like the middle point of a movie, if you could say. So, like, basically after Robert Jordan died, after Knife of Dreams, Brandon Sanderson took over. If you've actually seen my wheel, all this will be explained, my Wheel of Time rankings and the Wheel of Time tier list. So go check that out. I won't go into too much detail on this because otherwise we'll be here all day. But I really enjoyed it. I would put it, yeah, probably right there. And to see my reasoning, that's right, you have to check out the Wheel of Time. If you don't care, then this is just how it is. Just continue on. But if you do care about the Wheel of Time, check out that tier list. Then Memories of Light. I got to put it up here. For Wheel of Time fans, it's a must read. The way it concludes is just like something we never thought would happen like this well, and it fucking knocked it out of the park. Then we have The Lamb Will Be Slaughtered by the Lion. No, The Lamb Will Slaughter the Lion, yeah. Listen, I don't think this is my type of book. It's very obvious with its political statements. Like, it kind of takes on the anarchist kind of political, anarchist, I guess you could say. And it's just very obvious and in your face about, like, yeah, oh, we're living in a society where all of us plant our own food and like da, da, da. It's like a vegan's like, it's like your annoying vegan's wet dream, basically. And there's also some LGBTQ stuff in there, which I didn't mind at all. That's the part I didn't mind, but just like it feels like it's written by a angsty teenager who just discovered politics and realized that she was a anarchist. Especially because there's an Alan Moore quote on the front of this book, which is why I picked it up. Which I should have already known that it was gonna be weird. And the way the creature works is really weird too. Like, it didn't stick the landing for me. And it feels very new. This feels like a new author kind of thing. Like, not a lot of writing experience under their belts. But hats off to them for trying to write something. So I guess this would be a head. Yeah, because this is trash. You should never read this trash. Read the description for yourself. If you're into it, you're into it. With me, I just wasn't into it. I think the writing's really bad. The characters are annoying. The characters within themselves, not because of their sexual orientation or anything. I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah. And A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. This is the George R. R. Martin book. I believe they're making a show out of this, which if they're going like they're going with House of Dragons, I'm actually pretty excited about. This one's about Dunk and Egg. Basically, Dunk was a like mediocre knight, not really even a knight, and Egg is an Aegon Targaryen. This is placed 100 years before the events of Game of Thrones, so I forget what number Aegon this is. But this knight's basically just teaching Aegon about life in the Seven Kingdoms. And yeah, it's enjoyable. It's like 3 novellas mixed into one large book with like cool illustrations and stuff like that. So if you were into the world of A Song of Ice and Fire like myself, this is really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Put it right here. I basically ate through this because I love the world and I love seeing like these characters that are mentioned in the mainline books as actual people with narratives and stuff like that instead of just stories. I'm sorry, my camera's really shaking. I keep hitting my desk. Then we have Cows. This one goes also in the toss of trash. I believe, yes, this is the last toss in the trash. It's just vapid and ugly. It's like basically this dude lives with his mom and she cooks up awful stuff like vomit and poop and stuff like that, and they eat it. And then he has a girlfriend that he just has sex with whenever he feels like. And she's like, "What?" And then like he goes to the slaughterhouse, and his boss is like, "Yeah, you wanna have sex with the cows?" He's like, "Not really." And he's like, "You wanna kill and have sex with the cows?" He's like, "Okay." And then he does it, and then he starts talking to the cows, and then I'm sure maybe there's a political message in this, but like I can't fucking see it. There's a lot of graphic detail. Maybe these just aren't my types of books. Just a graphic like, oh, we're being hardcore and edgy. Just be hardcore and edgy. Imagine a dude fucking a cow. Isn't that cool? I'm like, no, it's not. It's really odd. I finished it because it was only like 150 pages or whatever. But I regret that I did because it was just not good at all. It was so bad. And I regret I should have just dropped it. I really should have, but I was like, is this what the horror genre really has for me? Like this is it, really? I mean, because I've seen YouTubers recommend these books and like, oh, they're so profoundly written and stuff, and I'm just like, this is not good at all. Maybe I'll find some more better horror next year, but right now the horror books that I read this year just not great, not good. Then we have a new spring. This is quite good. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. It's a prequel to the Wheel of Time where Moraine and Lan are trying to find Rand, basically, and they find him as a baby. And that's the whole book, and it just goes into more detail of Lan and Moraine's relationship and stuff. I would read this after book 10, or back after book 11, maybe? No, after book 10, you can read this. And, like, yeah, it's just a cool prequel. It's 300 pages, which is a rarity for Robert Jordan, because usually, at minimum, it's 600. I'm kind of glad next year I'm going to be picking more shorter books because a lot of this year was focused on Wheel of Time, and I'm not going to reread that series for a while. Maybe I'll reread certain books and stuff like that, but like doing a whole marathon of reading, I it's already taken like 2 years out of my life, and I enjoyed it, but like I'm not gonna like, all right, next year let's do it all over again. I'm gonna take my time with it. All right. Yeah, but no, it's a solid entry in the Wheel of Time, and I quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than these bottom two, so take that as you will. Then we have Stephen King's Carrie. I actually really like the format of this book. Basically, it's like you get an outside perspective. You get some of Carrie's perspective, but you also get the outside perspective of like the girls that bullied her, the gymnast that tries to like take her under her wing, kind of thing. And then you get like essay papers done after what Carrie's done. If you don't know the story of Carrie, I mean, come on. But basically, Carrie has telekinesis, I think it is, or where you can move objects and stuff like that. And she basically burns down her whole school with a bunch of high schoolers in there, and they all die. And like some of the essays are like what happens after that, like the effects that Carrie had after that, and like, you know, recent psychic phenomenons and stuff like that. And I thought that was the most interesting part. Like, I would be interested to see an adaptation of Carrie as a movie where it was like just a documentary, like a fake documentary about the effects that Carrie had on this little town and nationwide, kind of thing. I think that would be really cool to kind of see. Maybe I'll direct it. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. You know, this is my first time reading it. This is a lot of people's first Kings. I thought it was amazing. I think everyone should read it. It's an early King book, though. some of the characters are a little generic here and there. I definitely had more fun with the Mr. Mercedes trilogy and stuff like that. So yeah, The Emperor's Soul. This is the first. I think this is the first published novella or short story. And then it was Elantris. Those are the two out of the six that he wrote that got accepted. Um, I'm going to be started Sanderson next year. I'm already working on Way of Kings. Definitely not going to happen by the end of the year, that's for sure. Um, and yeah, no, the Emperor's Soul. It's got such a unique magic system, and I think that's what Brandon Sanderson really excels at. And because he only has to focus on a certain amount of characters, those characters are really great. I would put this like right here. It's a great short story if you want to get into Anderson and or sorry, not Anderson, Sanderson and his world. Definitely check out Emperor's Soul. This is like, if you don't like his writing style, you probably won't like the rest of his writings. But if you do like it, then like you could expand upon the Cosmere, start wherever you want. Yeah. Then we have Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. Listen, I'm an Abercrombie fan. All right, I love Robert Jordan, but I think I just love Joe Abercrombie's writing style. He writes grimdark so well, and like it would it shock you that he actually has like a degree in psychology, because like even like minor characters like you want to learn more about, and the dialogue is so great and fascinating. I'm much more of a character person and like a political person with my books. Like I want to know all the political stuff going on in the background. Give me all that stuff. I don't really care much about magic, which is shocking because I love the Wheel of Time so much, and they just go into the magic and explain it to like an almost annoying degree. Where like I would just be fine with like a book saying like they shoot fireballs. Word, I'm on board. And characters are the most important part for me. And like some of the characters in Wheel of Time, they're just in the same spot throughout all the books, and they never really develop. Like they develop but at a snail's pace. Whereas like Joe Abercrombie's books, they're like you get the character, he's there. This is what he learned in this book, kind of thing. Da, da, da. And strong female characters, especially in Best Served Cold. It's a traditional like revenge plot, but done in a Joe Abercrombie way, which makes it really fun and fascinating. And the humor, I don't really laugh at books and stuff like that, but I laugh hysterically at Joe Abercrombie books, especially the audiobooks, which is the way I consume his books. Like the narrator there's S tier, God tier, fantastic. But yeah, Best Served Cold is really good. It's a one-off book, so technically, I mean, I would still recommend reading the First Law trilogy first. But if you really want to, and you just want to get a taste of Joe Abercrombie's writing and stuff kind of like that, then pick up this book, give it a shot. Yeah. And then these two are kind of like research books that I'm researching in for a possible book I will be writing. But these are both great introductions. It's kind of weird ranking them, but I'm gonna go with I'm just going to put both of these at the bottom of great, because they're must reads for me. They're not necessarily must reads for you. I mean, if you really want to get into mythology on like a textbook kind of situation, then Mythology by name will be up here is a really, really great way to get into the traditional way that these characters are portrayed and stuff like that in Greek mythology, such as the gods, minor gods, stuff like that. And then Grimm's Fairy Tales, the original Grimm's Fairy Tale, very good. Yeah, no, I mean, this is my first time reading Grimm Brothers fairy tales. Like, I've only seen adaptations of them, and yeah, Hansel and Gretel's fucking dark. It's fucking, yeah, Princess of the Frog pretty fucked up too. So I've only read a select few stuff. I haven't really read these at full. I've just kind of picked and choose for research on a book I'm working on. But yeah, I mean, they're great for if you want to get into those kind of mythologies and tales. Definitely read those. Then we have the third book of the Percy Jackson series, The Titan's Curse. I read the first two last year. This one, it was always kind of lukewarm for me. This one's all right. It's just seeing monsters in this one. I just like it's kind of hard to get into. I like how the book opens, but like as it goes along, I'm like, I just want to get to the Battle of the Labyrinth, which is like a really good Percy Jackson book. But it's fine. It's good. Um, it's the third book in the fifth series, so strong or not, who knows? Then we're on our final two. The Justice of Kings. I really, really like this book. It's what is it? Yeah. I'd say so. The Justice of Kings. It's basically it's like a kind of big scale, small scale fantasy. Like the politics in the world are explained to you, but like it's about a small part of that world. And basically, there's these guys who are they basically have like Paul Atreides' ability of the voice, where they could command you to do something using the voice, and then you do what they say, kind of thing. And they're justices. They're like judge, jury, and executor, kind of. And it's all about an apprentice following her master, basically, and them trying to figure out a mystery. I want to be vague because you must read these books. They're very, very good, and I don't want to spoil any aspects of them. But it's just such an interesting world. If you're the type that doesn't really care about like giant battles and stuff like that, like giant scope battles, like, and then the army charged here, then the army charged there. This is like it's almost like a detective book, basically. Like imagine like NCSI, but like fantasy. Like it's kind of like that. So if you're into that, and especially if you're into Dresden Files, you'll be into this too. It's much more traditional fantasy, whereas Dresden Files is urban fantasy. Um, and yeah, and then I Am Not a Serial Killer. I had a lot of fun with this. It took an unexpected turn toward the end. Um, Whoops, no, I didn't mean to do that. I would put this. I definitely enjoyed it more than that. Yeah. I Not a Serial Killer is a lot of fun. It's about this teenager, and he's trying to like, it's kind of like Dexter, but if he was a teenager, he's trying to combat these feelings. Like he wants to kill people. He's a complete narcissist. I forget the term they use. Sociopath. That's it. He's a sociopath. But he's like, I can't like. I know it's morally wrong to do so, but then he figures out there's other murders going around in town, and he's like, oh, maybe it'd be okay to kill this guy because he's doing something bad, kind of thing. So it's kind of a Dexter approach with a interesting twist toward the latter half of the book that I'm not going to spoil. That at first, kind of like what Daniel Green's review said, like it really like was like, what? All right, what's going on here? But then it's kind of interesting, and I'm like, okay, like it didn't immediately ruin it like End of Watch did for Stephen King. Like End of Watch, what Stephen King did, I was like, why? You set this up like in reality, and you just had to do this thing. Like, why did you do that? Like, it doesn't make this was not foreshadowed. Why? Whereas like this one, you could argue that it's a little bit more foreshadowed, and stuff like that. But this looks like my list right now. Let me see if I want to change some things around here. Um. Okay, I'm gonna change that. Let's see. I don't think. Oh, God tier. Oh yeah, let's get into God tier. All right, God tier. Here we go. So I'm only choosing one book out of each series for 4 slots. God tier. Okay, so it has to be these guys for this year. All right. Well. All right. Let's get what I think is God tier out of the way. Okay. No. You know what? Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. No. No. Okay, that looks right to me. Okay. Now cut here. All right. So This is my god tier ranking. Jade War. So starting from going this way, Jade War is fantastic. It's the second book of the Green Bone Saga. Fonda Lee is so good at like intertwining Yakuza type criminal stuff with politics and magic, and it's just so fucking entertaining. I don't know how I don't read all three of these a row in a year. I just every time a Green Bow Saga book ends, I have to like stop for a minute and just think about what happened, and like I always try to start the next book right after, but I'm still like my brain's still trying to catch up on like what happened at the last one because it's such a mind-blowing book. And again, it's small scale pretty much. Like it's like none of this affects the entire world or whatever. It's very small within this island basically, and these clans just fighting with each other, using dirty political tactics, and stuff like that. And it's just God, it's so entertaining and fun to watch, or read rather. But yeah, no, it's a must read. If you have not read the Greenbone Saga, it is the best. Like all these, I mean, this one's modern fantasy too, but this one's grimdark. But modern fantasy as a whole, if you want to get into it, read the Greenbone Saga. You will not regret it. And especially the second one is better than the first one, I believe. And that's saying a lot because I thought the first one was fucking amazing. Okay, and then next on God tier, Memory of Light. I spent 2 years reading this series, and although I feel like Knife of Dreams is more well written, I feel more satisfied with Memory of Light because it finally, the wheel time comes to an end, and it ends so climatically, and it's just, this whole book is just pretty much one giant battle, with a lot of characters you really like. There could be more character deaths. They play a little safe in this book. That's my only real complaint. But Sanderson did a great job. Who would have thought that Sanderson would have pulled through? Because it's a big task to finish the Wheel of Time, and people are like, "Oh, Robert Jordan would have done it better." Da, da, da. I feel like Brandon Sanderson really took it home here. The Silmarillion. I'm a Tolkien nerd. I love Tolkien. Tolkien's in my heart and soul. I will go to the ends of the earth to understand his lore because it's so fascinating and great. And say what you will about the dense writing and stuff. It's still a great story and a great world building for Lord of the Rings fans. And you know me, I am a Lord of the Rings fanboy. So this is absolutely fantastic in every single way. Definitely selective. Like if you're not into Lord of the Rings, just don't even pick it up. Or if you're just into Lord of the Rings, but are like, I don't really care about the world. I just like the movies kind of thing, and I read the books. Don't get into this because like you need to pay attention. This is like a college course type book to analyze. Okay, so read at your own risk. And then we have the last book in the Age of Madness. This trilogy is so good because with the original First Law trilogy, I'm like, there's no way anything's being this. This is fucking fantastic. And then Age of Madness comes in, the sequel trilogy to the First Law trilogy, and it's so fucking good because it's like some of the kids in the first series, like the characters from the first series has kids, and it follows them, and it's just so like the children are just so well done because they have like elements of their parents that they hate, but slowly they turn into what their parents are. So it's kind of like that arc of like your kids are going to turn into you basically kind of thing. And this does it so well. Like I love every character in these books, and like I'm kind of sad but glad that like Joe Abercrombie is going to be writing his new book Demons. He says it's not connected to the First Law universe. I don't know about that, but like I am so excited to see what he writes next. Joe Abercrombie is probably my favorite modern author, honestly, above Sanderson, honestly, I believe, because the way he does characters is just so well done. Now, I haven't finished Wave of Kings. I haven't even started Mistborn, so this could all change. But as of right now, I mean, he is a god tier author, and you have to read this series. It's phenomenal. It's great. I would recommend it to anyone, especially people Game of Thrones fans, like, your general audience member or whatever who doesn't really read fantasy books, but like maybe doesn't want to read like 800 or 1,000 pages of a Song of Ice Fire book. This is the type of series I would recommend. Yeah, so that's going to cap it off for 2022. These are all the books I read. I can't believe I made it to 40. I like barely came by. I Am Not a Serial Killer came in because it was only 300 pages, and I knew I could finish that in time, so I did. Next year, I'm thinking about getting into the Warhammer books. I'm already starting the Eisenhower trilogy, so that should be fun, and the Horus Heresy. I have a bunch of audiobooks from that from Hundebundle, so I want to get through those. And then Brandon Sanderson. So Warhammer and Brandon Sanderson are going to be like probably my top priorities. And then rereading Red Rising in preparation for the new book. But yeah, without further ado, that's it. That's 2022. Look at the list. A lot of great books. Only 3 tossed in the trash, and some of them, one of them is just not my cup of tea. The other 2 are trash and should never be read. But yeah, so that's it for this year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And subscribe to the Black Hudson channel where we do podcasts and TV shows and all that fun and jazz. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a nice day.